Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Coaches from the Couch podcast. This is a podcast where we talk sports, we play games, and we do our best to have a good time. Usually, there are 3 men on the ship today, but we're down a guy, so it's not the usual duo that you see when there's 2. It's me and Carson. So
how we doing?
Yeah, we're here today to talk some sports. We have an absolutely loaded schedule. A lot of fun things to talk about, but the most recent thing that happened in sports was actually last night, the 2023 Espys Awards.
Espys Awards, yep.
So we're gonna do a little segment. We're just gonna talk about each of the people that won them. We're gonna talk about the nominees. We're gonna talk about who we think deserved it, or if they got it right.
Yeah.
Before we do talk about that, though, let's talk about Pat McAfee. That opening monologue.
Exactly.
The opening monologue. I thought he done a really good job. Well, something that I like that he did is he pointed out like every athlete. Not just the male athletes, not just the football players, but also the females and why they're so powerful. He talked about his daughter. What do you think about his opening monologue?
So I thought he hit it right on the head because he came out with the jokes like everybody does, and he even said because I don't think he was originally supposed to be it.
He wasn't.
It was supposed to be Kevin Hart.
It was supposed to be Kevin Hart, but they had the writer's strike is going on.
Then they have Kevin Hart, and I think he even said they were supposed to have Stephen A.
Yeah.
Before him.
Right.
And so he even threw those jokes in there. So him. Right when he said Kevin Hart, he said, that guy's too short. He said a little short joke. It was funny. Kevin Hart was laughing really hard. Sure. But yes, he definitely, he got everything that was really happening, in a joke. The Britney Spears, the Victor Wembanyama.
I really liked his Skip Bayless, DeMar Hamlin. Yeah. That was a good one.
That was good.
Just because Skip Bayless needs to delete that tweet. You should not have that out there.
What's crazy, it's still out there.
Right, yeah, it's incredible. So, and now, also, we're biased. We're huge Pat McAfee fans, so that's the other thing.
I say, there's probably a lot of people that didn't like it.
Right, and that's just the way it is. Yeah. Pat's he's an outgoing personality. But we thought he'd done a good job, so let's get into this segment. Again, we're just gonna talk about each award, or most of the awards, who won them, and then also talk about if we thought it was deserved, or if we thought we would have given it to somebody else. One more precursor. All these people are the top 1% of the 1%ers, so they all deserve it.
Yeah.
So this is just a couple high school athletes' opinions, you know.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter too much. But first things first, female college athlete. So Caitlin Clark won the award. Jordy Ball, Trinity Thomas, and Izzy Skane were the other nominees. I think you're kind of making that face too. We only know Caitlin Clark.
I only know Caitlin Clark.
But she won the award and she's a beast.
So I guarantee it though, the other 3, they deserve to win it too.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. But Caitlin Clark, she's a stud. She is so awesome.
Caitlin Clark, obviously, she had that historic run with Iowa and how she was balling in the NCAA tournament. Kind of the first time I've ever, being a Kentucky fan, our girls team is usually decent. Yeah. But that was pretty much the first time I've ever watched an NCAA tournament of the girls' side.
Yeah, and girls' college basketball is it's exciting now. It's tough not to watch. I'll catch myself watching some. I'm a Louisville fan, so I watch all their games. But I'll watch some Iowa and I'll watch some LSU games this year. Yeah. Just because they're fun to watch. And another thing that girls' college basketball they've started to do is they started to kind of more than men's college basketball. They've leaned into their superstars, kind of like the NBA does. With the Caitlin Clark and who's the big girl from LSU?
Reese.
Angel Reese.
Yeah,
yes. And then Haley Van Lith went there too.
She went there from Louisville.
So they started to kind of lean into their stars, which is a great play by girls' college basketball.
Exactly.
Next thing up is male college athlete of the year. Caleb Williams was the winner. Brennan O'Neill, Duncan McGuire, and Zach Edey. Those are the 3 nominees. What do you think, Carson?
So I don't know Duncan. I don't even know what he does. I don't know Brennan. I probably should, being on a sports podcast, but I don't. But Caleb Williams and Zach Edey, I think obviously you could pick any of these guys. Like I said, I'm not going to say that every single time, but you could pick any of these guys. But from what I've seen, I think Zach Edey should have won it. But obviously, you can't go wrong with the Heisman winner either. So.
Yeah, not at all.
But I'm going with Zach Edey.
Yeah, I hear you, Zach Edey. I'd go with Caleb Williams. But Zach Edey was the National Player of the Year. Caleb Williams was the Heisman winner.
Exactly.
You could go with either one.
Exactly.
But here's my question: if Caleb Williams won it last year, why the heck wouldn't he win it this year? If he has just as good of a season,
True. Exactly.
What's the reason he wouldn't? Next up, now this is a loaded one. Male athlete of the year. Yeah. 5 absolute studs. So Pat Mahomes was the winner.
Yeah.
Leo Messi, He obviously won the World Cup. Aaron Jones hit 5 bazillion home runs last year, and then Nikola Jokic is literally like he's the unicorn. So,
exactly. So
what do you think about that? Do you think Pat was the right decision, or
so
do you?
My thing is with Patrick Mahomes. I believe he won another award. So,
yeah, I think NFL player.
I think, and so that's what kind of makes me say maybe one of these other guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Actually, I can't. We'll get to it. I can't remember if Jokic won or not. Can you?
I'm sure he won the NBA Player of the Year.
But so if any of these guys, the other 3, didn't get an award, I wish they kind of would have gave it to one of them because I know I really remember Patrick Mahomes winning the NFL Player of the Year. So I think, but obviously you can't go on with Patrick Mahomes. He's obviously probably the best athlete right now. He's kind of taken over the Tom Brady role.
Right.
In the NFL.
Where was when Judge had his home runs last year? Where did he rank all time?
Oh, he was number 2.
Number 2, about right behind Barry Bonds.
Yeah, right behind Barry Bonds.
That's crazy. I think he probably should have won it. But then also Leo Messi won the World Cup. Is that good? I mean, the World Cup, is that a good thing?
Exactly. He had 3 goals, I believe. In that too.
So, I mean...
And then Jokic, obviously, triple-double machine.
All studs. It's a toss-up. Mahomes deserve it. They all 5 deserved it.
Exactly.
So the next up, we're going to talk about the NFL Player of the Year. So for the NFL Player of the Year, again, Patrick Mahomes was the winner, which makes sense because he was the male athlete of the year. But the other nominees, Nick Bosa, Justin Jefferson, and Jalen Hurts. What do you think?
And then obviously, like I said, I think he is the best NFL player. I mean, if you put him on any team, they're a winning franchise. Right. So I think it's kind of and same thing with most of these players. I think if you put them on a team, I think they make them a winning franchise just because of how much they impact the game, and that's why they're nominees. So I do think they got it right.
Exactly right. And then record-breaking performance. It's hard to argue that they didn't get this one right. So LeBron James broke the NBA's all-time scoring record. Max Verstappen, I don't know what record it was, but he wins every F1 race. So probably just the winning every F1 race record. Novak Djokovic is a stud. Yeah. And then Michaela Schifrin, I've never watched her, but she does alpine skiing.
Yeah. So, I was to say I saw that.
She's a stud, but I think they got it right with LeBron, don't you?
Exactly, and because I know that LeBron obviously. He passed a record that said that would never be broken.
Right. So
I don't know. I don't know much about the other sports records. So I don't know. But I know the NBA. They were saying that that's never supposed to be touched.
Yeah.
And the fact he came on, gave a pretty good speech about how everybody was thinking he was going to retire in that, and then he actually came out saying actually I got a couple more years left. So that is pretty cool. How that went down. I think. Obviously, you can't hate this decision.
Did you see his wife giving the speech and he's about to say, and the girl? That was obviously staged, but it was still really funny. It was still really funny.
Exactly. Did you see the meme of all of his sunglasses?
Yeah, what was he wearing?
I don't. Those are hideous.
I couldn't pull those off, but I'm also Caucasian, so I can't pull a lot of things off.
I can't pull that off.
So this is a really exciting one. Breakthrough Athlete of the Year. So Angel Reese won it. Caitlin Clark was up there, J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, and then, of course, Brock Purdy. They call him, Big Cut Brock.
Exactly.
Big Brock Purdy.
Mr. Irrelevant. What this one is, obviously, there's also really good candidates. I watched Angel Reese, obviously, in the tournament. That's it. So I didn't really see all year. But if I had to, by what I watched, I would have easily went with Brock Purdy. I think what he did was impressive with a 49ers team on their third-string quarterback. Went in there and went 10-0, I believe. Right. Didn't lose a game. Took this team to the NFC Championship, and then he actually got hurt in early minutes of the game. So if it was me, I would have went Brock Purdy, but I don't think that they could have picked the right one because I didn't see it earlier.
I think I'm kind of on the same page with you. I think Angel Reese was probably a good decision just because Brock only made it to the championship. Now, if he wins that championship and makes it to the Super Bowl, definitely Brock. But either way, it can't go wrong, obviously. We're not even going to spend too much time on this next one. Best driver, Max Verstappen. He wins every F1 race next.
Exactly.
So the NBA Player of the Year was Jokic.
Okay.
Tough not to choose that. Now, it is ironic that Embiid won the MVP.
That is a little ironic.
But Jokic...
Does it go off the year before, though?
No, because Julio Rodriguez was on there for the breakthrough athlete. Yeah. He's hitting 248 this year. Yeah. So it had to be from last year.
Yeah.
But then obviously Angel Reese isn't from last year. So So I don't know exactly what they got. Jimmy V Award, Liam Hendricks, story.
That was a good story. Yeah. Very good story.
The Jimmy V Award always is awesome.
Yeah, I mean Liam put that out. I mean it made you almost tearing up watching it. I mean, it was
kidding.
Really good.
No freaking kidding. NHL Player of the Year, Connor McDavid. I know they call him McJesus.
Yes.
So he's a young phenom. Courage Award was the United States Women's National Soccer Team. I don't know what they did, but I'm sure it was really courageous.
So good job, guys.
MLB Player of the Year, no brainer, Shohei Ohtani. But I don't know, Aaron Judge breaking all those. I was
gonna say I think obviously you got to go with Ohtani though, just because of the fact he pitches. Like I'm a huge Aaron Judge fan, but the fact that dude can pitch and throw a under 3 ERA and then hit 60 home runs,
right,
and bat over 300 on base 350. I mean how. You can't defend. I can't even defend Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge does the batting part, but he doesn't pitch either. So I can't say nothing. So they got it right. It is
exactly right. And then the champion performance, Leo Messi won that, so he won the World Cup. So that's pretty good. And then the award for service, this one was awesome too. The Buffalo Bills training staff. Talk about another tear-jerking moment.
That was That was really good. The only thing I wish that would have happened, I don't know did you watch it all? So when they were talking, I wish they would have got the dude that did CPR.
Right.
The dude next to him on the right, he's the one that actually did CPR. I wish he would have done some talking. Yeah. But,
it was also kind of clear that the head trainer didn't have much experience or wasn't comfortable public speaking.
Yeah.
You could definitely tell he wasn't comfortable.
I think that makes it better. Because, the fact,
it's genuine.
Because they don't, I think, obviously, a training staff's never won this award.
Right.
So that's what makes it iconic. And, a guy like that, not used to public speaking,
right.
That's awesome. What he
did.
mean,
just the fact of Pat McAfee, a Yinzer from Pittsburgh, brought up DeMar Hamlin, a Yinzer for Pittsburgh, who got to bring up the Buffalo Bills training staff. Awesome. So comeback athlete of the year, Jamal Murray won it over John Jones, Alyssa Thomas, and Justin Verlander. Personally, I think John Jones should have won that.
That's exactly what I
said. He didn't really come back from an injury, I guess, did he?
No, he didn't.
So maybe that's the big thing. Obviously, Jamal tore his Achilles, right? Or was it ACL?
It was Achilles.
Achilles. So either way, obviously, couldn't have went wrong with either of those two.
I thought the joke was pretty funny though.
What? Which one?
Jamal Murray saying we can share it, and then he said you just can't choke me out. That was pretty good.
That's hilarious. And then best play. So Justin Jefferson won that. Didn't Michael Block hit a hole in one? He was the PGA Tour or pro that. But Justin Jefferson, that catch, was it against the Bills?
Packers, the one where or it might have been the Bills. The one where he caught it a one-handed on two people.
I remember the catch. I just don't remember who it was against.
It was the Bills or Packers. I can't remember.
Absolutely. WNBA Player of the Year. Asia Wilson won that. She's a stud. Best MMA fighter, John Jones. Definitely. Although Makhachev probably has an argument, but geez, John Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, just an absolute stud.
Nunez does too. She has a reasonable fight.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause she can fight for it too.
Right.
She's good.
Boxer of the year. So I don't know Clarissa Shields. I don't know her. But that's pretty cool that a woman got that award, just considering Gervonta Davis is a great boxer. Mm-hmm. Devin Haney's there. Triple C. Who else are good? Canelo's a great boxer. So pretty cool that a woman won that award. I'm sure she's super impressive.
And Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, yeah, he may be winning it sometime. Golfer of the year, Scotty Scheffler. He's a stud.
That dude won everything last year.
It's insane. He's always in the top 5.
He's top
5 every event.
Yep.
John Rahm, he won it over John Rahm, who won the Masters. But best team of the year, so get ready. So Kansas City Chiefs won it over the Golden Knights, LSU women's basketball team, Las Vegas Aces, Georgia Bulldogs, Denver Nuggets, Oklahoma women's softball. What do you think about? Break that down for me. Do you think the Chiefs deserve that one?
Man, that's a tough one.
It's a lot to process. It's a lot of teams.
So I think obviously you can't knock them because they won the Super Bowl, but
right.
but really I feel like that's Patrick Mahomes. It's crazy as that sounds, but I think obviously the Vegas Golden Knights, I think they had a terrible record last year, and then they bounced back like that. So I think they have LSU too.
Right.
But I think my two favorite, or the two that I think should have won was Georgia Bulldogs football and Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Because Georgia, besides that Ohio State game where C.J. Stroud we talked about last episode, took them close. Every other game was not close.
Right.
And that's that's a dominant team performance. Stetson Bennett wasn't a guy like Patrick Mahomes that can carry a team. It's a whole team performance. That's what I think, team. But and same thing with the Denver Nuggets. Yes, they had the MVP, but like that team just could not get over the hump over the past couple of years, and they finally got over the hump as a team, and I think that also plays a big factor.
So for me, I'm actually between the Denver Nuggets and then the Oklahoma women's softball. They've won like 70 games in a row.
Really?
Like 65 games in a row. But obviously all great teams there. And then, so soccer player of the year, Leo Messi, won the World Cup. He won some other things. They have like 75 tournaments a year, so he probably just wins them all. Then the Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award, the Holiday, their couple. Another great story.
That was really good.
They're awesome. Both of the Holidays. They just seem like the type of, like, I could be around J. Rue and his wife Lauren. Like, I could hang out with them.
Like, they had a really good story as well. I didn't know that there was other nominees. Like, they didn't say the other nominees last night, but now we can actually see it.
Right.
But yeah, I think they had a really good story.
Absolutely. And then Tennis Player of the Year, the Stuart Scott Inspire Award. I didn't watch that. Richard Lapchick, did you see that?
I did not.
Didn't, so I'm sure he done something great. You have to. Tennis player was Novak. He's famous for saying, "I'm not getting that vaccine." That's what he's famous for.
He is famous for it.
Yeah, but he's also a great tennis player. He's good at that, too. And then the Humanitarian Team of the Year. So the San Antonio Spurs won it. The Connecticut Suns, which is WNBA, was in there. The Jets, and then the Colts were in there.
I didn't even see this.
Me either.
What does that even technically mean?
It just means, I guess, they give back to the community. I'm assuming that's what it means.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go, Colts.
Well, I'm sure it's for kicking the stigma, the mental health thing that they do. I bet that's what it's for.
So, Colts easily should have won.
Yeah, easily. I mean, they got robbed, dude.
I mean, just living in Indiana, and we kind of have that right there. So,
right.
Colts should have won. I don't know. Jim Irsay was out.
They got robbed.
Jim Irsay's out there giving money.
This is ridiculous. So, all in all, a really fun Espys. Me and Carson got to see our boy Pat McAfee hosted. Gave a great monologue. And again, these athletes are literally the top 0.1% of the top 0.1%, right? So, they all deserved it, but really, like, compared to like the Grammys or the Oscars, all those award shows, the Espys is a good, really well done show. One thing I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention, Lil Wayne doing Emily. Yeah. That was sweet.
Yeah, that was awesome. Good. And then another, I think, cool moment that we didn't really get to talk about much is the Carmelo, where they called Carmelo up, and Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron all talked about and stay mellow. That's what they said to end it. And I think that was pretty cool to see his next chapter of life, because I think he has 2 twins, right, that are really, really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's Carlos Boozer.
Oh, that's
the Boozer twins.
Oh,
the Boozer twins, but they're studs.
But he's a kid too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
And he's pretty good.
I know. I think he has a girl.
Oh, he has a girl?
I don't know. Fact check that.
Yeah, we'll look at the next segment.
Yeah, but what would I give to be Carmelo's son?
Exactly.
What would I give to be Carmelo's son? But all in all, a great Espys, and we, like I said, we have a packed episode for you, so make sure to stick around. So the second half of the MLB season is just about to begin. The first half just wound down. The All-Star break was nice. The Home Run Derby had some good moments. So we're going to quickly just brush through every division in the MLB, similar to kind of how we're doing our NFL division, but way less in depth and just kind of talking about the best teams, talking about what we think may happen. So first off, let's talk about probably the best division in baseball, the AL East.
Yep.
Every team in the AL East is above 500, which is insane. The Rays are leading the division. Carson, you're a Yankees fan. They're right in it. I guess 8 games back, but when you have the offense that the Yankees have, you're good.
That, and then the big thing about the Yankees is, we got to get Aaron Judge back if we're going to make anything.
Right.
So, Aaron Judge has been out for a little bit now, and, Yankees need him back bad, because actually our offense has actually been terrible, especially towards the end of the All-Star break. But our pitching's been really good. So, we're in a lot of games that are 3-2, 2-1,
right.
And it's just frustrating.
That's not Yankee baseball. That's what's weird.
Yeah, it's frustrating because Yankee baseball, I'm used to, we're scoring 8 runs,
right.
but we're only giving up 4 or 5
right.
or 3. It's like we're usually good at everything. We're good at hitting, we're good at pitching. But yes, our pitching's still there. We have Domingo Germán threw that perfect game, no hitter. I forget. Yeah, it's a perfect game. Yeah, and that was the first one since 2012. And then obviously Garrett Cole's all-star starter. So we have our pitching's fine. Nestor, I think he's still hurt though.
Yeah.
But Yankees pitching is still fine. It's just the hitting needs to come along. But we have a lot of injuries right now.
Yeah, well, LeMahieu hasn't been hitting well. That hurts, and he's like an elite
and then
hitter.
Bader's been off and on of injured list.
Volpe's been off and on just hitting wise.
And he's only about like 205.
He'll get hot for a week and then he'll go cold for 3, so that's never a good recipe.
And then Josh Johnson was terrible. Like a lot of fans are wanting him out because he was batting like under 200 like all the All-Star break or before the All-Star break.
But the other thing that hurts about the Yankees being in the division that they're in, they're probably in the same team as the second best team in baseball. The Tampa Bay Rays are unbelievable, unbelievable, and like all those guys are Tampa Bay Rays grown guys, similar to kind of how the Reds are doing.
I know, yeah. And because I think the Tampa Bay Rays, like, yes, they're in a good location, but for some reason they're not a big money team. They haven't been yet, and I think they could be. Right. It's just they don't spend money.
Yeah.
And because they have the location, they're in obviously Tampa Bay, Florida, but they just don't. They just stay loyal. They draft. They pretty much grow everything out of.
And
their
they
franchise.
hit a lot of freaking home runs.
Exactly.
A lot of home runs.
And but they did. They were struggling towards the end of the All-Star break. It says they were 3-7 in their last 10. So looks like they were a little bit struggling. And then I want to talk about the Baltimore Orioles. Yeah. Baltimore Orioles, they're a pretty fun team to watch. Yeah. We watched them in a series against the Reds, I know, and that team can pitch and hit. That's a scary team, and they're young.
They're really young. Yeah, they're a good team. Then also the Jays are in there. Lots of young talent. They have Vladdy Jr., they have Bo Bichette.
That's a scary team because they can all hit. The biggest question mark for them is pitching right now.
Yeah, I think that the only team that's not intimidating is the Red Sox.
Yeah, and what's crazy, they're still 5 games over.
Yeah, they're still 5 games over. They're just not. I just don't.
With the other teams in the division, that's the problem.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Moving on to the AL Central, arguably probably the worst division in baseball. The Guardians are leading at 500. They're 45-45. It's kind of the classic Guardians team, right, that we've always known. No Trevor Bauer, obviously.
Yeah.
But, they have J-Ram, Jose Ramirez. They have Andres Jimenez at second base. But their pitching staff. I want
to stop you real quick and go back to the AL East. Just one thing.
Yeah.
I want to know like who do you think your biggest surprise is in the division? Who's your biggest like, oh wow, that happened? And like looking back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I think my biggest surpriser for sure is the Rays.
Obviously, that's mine too.
And it's not even just, like, the record's great, but also just all the home runs they hit. Mm-hmm. Last year, they were not that type of team.
Yeah.
Last year, they were not that type of team. And I think the biggest just, like, oh, wow, like kind of maybe negative is that the Red Sox, even though that they're 5 games over, they're still in last place in the division, which tells me that's bad news.
Yeah,
that's what that tells me.
And then I want to say the Yankees. I'm surprised we weren't doing better with the Aaron Judge year last year. Obviously, he's had injuries. That's mine. And then and then I'm same thing with you with the Red Sox.
See, that's why we're professional podcasters.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can do things on the fly.
Exactly. And so now,
so again, AL Central, classic Guardians team. They're 500. I mean, what do you make of this division, if anything?
Man, I know, like, the Twins have been in contention. They've been in that number 1 spot. They've been flipping with the Guardians. I mean, the Detroit Tigers, they're young. I know Javier Baez has, like, the most errors at shortstop, which he used to be, like, one of the best shortstop defenders. So,
and I'm sure he's up there in strikeouts.
Yeah,
I can assure it.
It's probably batting 220.
Right.
My biggest surprise, though, in this division is the White Sox.
Bingo. Exactly right.
I think that's my biggest surpriser. That's all I'm going to say is my biggest surpriser in this division. Like, that team I thought was going to be good. They have a former Cy Young contender, Dylan Cease.
Right.
Michael Kopech, and then they have Lucas Giolito. Like, that's a good pitching rotation. And then their hittings, they have Tim Anderson. They have Yasmani Grandal. Like, they have some hitters.
Eloy Jimenez.
Yeah.
Eloy Jimenez.
And then they also have the other outfielder, Luis Robert.
Oh, yeah.
I know they have some injuries. I think one of them's hurt. Luis Robert is not, because
he was in the home run derby.
Okay. He's the one that's hurt. But, like, yeah, this is a good team. And I'm just shocked because this division isn't very strong.
Right.
I'm just shocked that they're doing this bad. Maybe they had a tough schedule at the beginning of the year. I don't know. So maybe they'll play more division games and get back up there. But they're only 8 games back, actually. That's surprising.
And then the Royals, they're god-awful.
Yeah,
they're just bad.
We don't have to talk
but I think my biggest surpriser, right along with you, the White Sox, they even have Tony La Russa as their manager.
I know.
Like, one of the great managers of all time.
Oh, they have Benintendi, too.
Yeah, Andrew Benintendi. Yeah, they're just struggling. But then some good news from this division. The Tigers got Max Clark. From Franklin. So that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Being from Indiana, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is.
A high school player.
So then the AL West, another one of those divisions where if you looked at all these teams on paper, you'd be like, holy cow. These are just like the AL East. But they're not necessarily, they don't all have that record. So just starting off the top, the Rangers. DeGrom's been hurt.
Yeah.
But, just a stacked roster. They're a stacked team.
Yes, Corey Seager leading the way, and they have that John Heim.
Jonah
Heim. And that dude's been balling out. He wrecked the Reds. He had like 3 home runs in 3 games. And then obviously they got, who's their outfield? They have, Semien. I'm not thinking of their outfield. Marcus Semien. He's like the best second baseman in baseball.
They have third base Josh Young.
Yep, Josh Young.
Jung. And then first base Nathaniel Lowe.
And then they also have, he's really good.
Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And don't they have Garver? Mitch Garver as their catcher. So, they have a really solid team. And what's, I think, shocking is, like, Jacob deGrom isn't used to winning games.
Right.
Because, like, every year he was at the Mets, like, he was Cy Young contender, but he would still lose games because his team couldn't hit.
Yeah.
And this is good for the Rangers because Jacob deGrom's been hurt.
Absolutely right. Moving on, the defending world champions, the Astros. The Astros, kind of having a mediocre season. Jose Altuve is now 33. He's getting older. But one thing that sticks out about the Astros, they have a really good pitching staff.
Yeah.
They have Framber Valdez. I forgot who else is on there. Montero is in the bullpen.
Yeah.
They have that Brian Abreu. So they have a good pitching staff, their starters and their bullpen. And that's keeping them in a lot of games. But what do you think about the Astros?
I say, like, the problem with the Astros right now, why they're not leading this division, even though they're only 2 games back, but like their core isn't doing like what they usually do.
Right.
Like Altuve, Bregman, they have that Pena, Gurriel, Martin Ronaldo is their catcher.
Yeah.
And then they got probably their best player is Yordan Alvarez, which he's had a really good year.
He's kind of been off and on the injuries though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's probably been their problem. But I think I really do see how long is DeGrom out? Is he out a while?
I think he should be back soon.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
If he's not already back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think the Astros can give them a run for their money. Though.
Right.
I think they can win this division.
Right. So looking at the Mariners, we don't have to spend too much time, but like we said earlier in the podcast, J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez, he's been struggling this year. He's hitting like 248. And his power numbers are decent, but not the same Julio Rodriguez season that we saw last year.
Yeah, and then the only thing I'm going to really say is that like they're like all old, washed Reds players. They got
seriously
Suarez. I know they had Castillo's been balling.
Castillo's a stud.
No, they lost Winker. Never mind. Winker's on the Brewers. And he's not doing very good at all. But, this Mariners team, I think this Mariners team can still hit, though, because they have that Cal Rehigh at catcher.
Rally,
and then Mitch Haniger, I believe.
Yeah, no, he's on the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Who's their, right fielder? They have a good...
Teoscar
Hernandez, yeah. Because I knew they got somebody. Like, this team can hit. The big question for them is bullpen and besides Luis Castillo, starting pitching.
Yeah, and then moving on to the Angels, same old washed-up take that's not good. How do they have the 2 best players in baseball and they're still not good?
1-9 in their last
10. They were pretty good coming up until just these last 10 games. Now they're, like Carson said, 1-9 in their last 10. What do you think?
Get Ohtani to the Yankees, so I think that's a possibility.
Well, there was said that the Yankees would be most aggressive to trade for him.
Because we need hitting.
Right.
And obviously, it doesn't hurt to bring pitching in either. So why not just bring in one player to fill both categories?
That's exactly right.
And then I don't think we even need to touch on the athletics.
They're going to Vegas next year.
So we don't even need to touch on the athletics.
Nope.
Let's just save some time.
So moving on to the NL here. NL East. NL East is home to probably the best team in baseball right now, the Atlanta Braves. You look at their lineup.
They just hit home runs.
It's berserk. Their lineup's berserk.
They just hit home runs, and this team can hit. This team their pitching for the most part is good.
Strider,
Yeah.
Max Fried. They have Iglesias out of the
Soroka,
bullpen.
he's back
Mike
this
Soroka.
year. And Charlie Morton.
Yep.
And Kyle Wright. No, Kyle Wright's on the Orioles.
Yeah.
But this team, they can do it all. They can do it everywhere. I think the only thing they really do lack is bullpen. They have A.J. Minter and Iglesias, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But, they need some earlier reliever guys.
Right.
But, this team is obviously probably your favorites for the World Series.
And then the Marlins, they're actually having a pretty good season.
They're a fun team.
Jazz is awesome. They have a new manager, Skip Schumacher. He's their manager now. The
From
Jazz
the Reds?
yeah.
I didn't know
Skip
that.
Schumacher's the manager of the Marlins.
Good for him.
Interesting. So Jazz Chisholm's out in center field. They have Jorge Soler on one side. What is it? Something Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar, something like that. Not him, but something like that. And then they have Sandy Alcantara. He's not had a very good season at all. His ERA is actually above 5. If you hear anything right now, there is literally like a monsoon.
Is that rain?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think. Anyways, there's a monsoon in here.
Nice.
So the Marlins, they're having a really good season, but everybody's just looking up at the Braves.
Yeah. And then you got the Phillies, who are still over 500. And then the New York Mets have probably been the biggest bust this year.
No question.
Spend that much money on 2 pitchers that are 2 Cy Young winners, and you can't win games still. So that's probably the biggest surprise of the year. Nationals, obviously,
they're tanking.
Yeah, they're tanking. They can actually hit the crap out of the ball. Their pitching is terrible, though.
Yeah.
I know Josiah Gray made the All-Star game, but I think everybody has
to have one play.
Yeah, so he, not to call him out, but he made it because
I don't get how he made it, but not Lane Thomas.
Lane
the
Thomas.
right fielder.
That's what I'm saying. They can hit that that Cordillo or
Candelario.
Candelario, that dude.
Yeah.
That team can hit. They played against the Reds. They hit really well.
Unfortunately, though, they're 24.5 back, so
I'd say
it's looking rough for them.
But they are young. They have a lot of young guys like Abrams and stuff like that. So they're looking at the future. And I think Phillies have a chance to also get back up there and possibly get a wild card spot.
Absolutely. Then moving on to the NL Central. We've already talked 15,000 times on this podcast about the Reds, but Carson, let's do it again.
Yeah, why not? It's
Cincinnati
fun.
Reds are at the top of the division. They're a game up. Talk to me. What do you think? What do you think the Reds at the deadline? What move do you think they need to make, and what move do you think they will make?
Easily, we got to get a starting pitcher. I think it's got to be, and this ain't a prospect starting pitcher. This is a
bona fide stud.
I think this is easy. Like, you're looking at Jack Flaherty, you're looking at Marcus Stroman, you're looking at
Shane Bieber,
you're looking at White Sox pitchers, you're looking at
Giolito,
Kopech, Giolito, Cease. Like, you're looking at all these guys, it's like, all right, we need to get one. Like, because, you're planning on, obviously, Hunter Green, Lodolo coming back. Ashcraft's been off and on, so he's okay. Yeah. And then that's when you need to go get one more guy, and then move a guy like Williamson or Weaver to the bullpen.
Yeah.
And help out for a long relief.
Well, did you see?
And then you look at Abbott.
Abbott, of course.
I forgot all about Aaron.
Well, did you see what they did with Ashcraft at the end of the series? He was in the bullpen.
Was he really?
On the last game of the season, they put him in the bullpen. He didn't come out. He didn't pitch, but yeah.
But he had a really good outing the night before, though.
Well, the thing is, his stuff is just so good. Imagine if that was Imagine if he only had to focus on 2 innings of using that stuff.
He can throw 102.
Right, rather than focusing on 7 innings of that stuff. You know, so the Reds, they need pitching terribly. A team that's so pesky for the Reds, the Brewers. The Brewers, they are so pesky.
They do. They just own us. That Brewers team, what's crazy on paper, that team is not very good.
No.
Owen Miller, I mean, he's batting 300. I've never even heard of the dude before this year.
Right.
So he's been a utility player throughout the years.
Who's the center fielder with the hair?
Weaver.
Weimer.
Yeah, and that dude has a softball swing.
It's insane.
He gets that thing up, and he has a softball swing. He loads up, and then they got Willie Adames just decides to start hitting against the Reds. He's batting 205.
Hey, what did he hit? 3 home runs? 4 home runs?
4 home runs, I think.
In that series.
But yeah, that team isn't very good.
No.
Their pitching is amazing.
Well, the thing is apparently Corbin Burns isn't happy with the organization.
So he'd be good in the Reds.
He'd be good with someone. They probably wouldn't trade him to the Reds, but
And then I want to know one thing. I know the odds are very slim. What's the chances of the Reds getting Ohtani? Did you know that the Reds were actually... There's 3 teams that went after Ohtani when he was in Japan. Reds were one of them.
Really?
Yeah. It was the Reds, Angels, and I believe the Cubs.
Wow.
and that was the same teams that went for Shogo Akiyama and the dude that's on the Cubs right now. So there's only been 3 teams going after these Japanese players.
Right.
And so it almost makes you wonder, like, Ohtani, make it happen. Because, like, we have money. We don't spend money.
The thing is, though, you're mortgaging your future for a half a season. He's not going to sign.
I'm not saying this year. I mean, we can get him in trade, but I'm saying at the free agency. He's a free agent this year.
Yeah.
I wonder if he does. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say no just because, but, like, I mean, with this team's young.
Love it.
This team's, like, if he comes, that makes us even better, obviously.
Right.
And we're already winning our division this young.
Right.
So he wants to win. That's what he said. This division's weak right now.
It is weak.
I just wonder if it runs through his head.
Who knows? Probably not as much as LA does, but
yeah, exactly.
But I'm sure all 30 teams in MLB will send him an offer at least.
Yeah, and then I think Cubs are selling.
Yeah.
Cubs are selling. We don't.
Pirates. They started off well.
I think they're gonna probably sell because they got guys like Santana. They got a couple veterans.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll probably keep McCutchen just because this might be his last year because he went back.
Right, and then the Cardinals they announced they're selling.
Them and the Mets have been the worst surprisers like this year. Like the Cardinals they just went to the division series last year. So they have the same roster.
Well, did you see what their GM said yesterday? He said, "We're not waving the white flag, but all the moves we make at the trade deadline are to set us up for next year."
So we're not.
So you're waving the white flag.
We're not waving the white flag though. But
yeah. So then moving on to the NL West. The NL West is home to the 4 really good teams. The Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Giants, and Padres. Dodgers always have one of the highest payrolls, but the Diamondbacks, they're a young, exciting team.
Yeah, I think they kind of remind you a lot of the Reds.
I agree.
Like they're all young.
Them, the Orioles. Yeah. Those are like the two kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I think as like a fan of this team, if you're a fan of one of those teams, like that's what makes it exciting because like you didn't have to go out and go get Mookie Betts and pay $500 million to a player and make your team good.
Right.
The Reds literally we have the lowest one of the lowest pay grades and like so does all these other teams. Mm-hmm. They have the lowest pay grades and they're being successful. That's the cool part. So I just think to be a Diamondbacks fan, it has to be cool because look at Zach Gallen. He's like a Cy Young contender.
Corbin Carroll's so awesome.
Yeah, he's
so awesome.
I think he's already won the Rookie of the Year because of LA came up late.
Right, and he's been better than McClain and all them and Steer. So Corbin Carroll's so awesome. Christian Walker, their first baseman's a beast. So they're a really awesome team. Yeah. Then the Giants. The Giants, they never have a good roster, but they're always in it somehow. And same thing this year. They'll somehow make it to the playoffs and win the World Series. They're 49-41.
Sandoval's coming back.
Yeah, I heard Tim Lincecum's coming back too.
Yeah. I mean,
and then probably another one of the biggest disappointments in the league. We got the Mets, we got the Cardinals, and then probably the third most, you'd probably say, is the Padres. And the only reason they're third is because they still have a chance. But with that payroll and that team, and they're 4 games under.
Yeah, and I think I've already heard that there's rumors of them possibly trading Juan Soto, so which I think is crazy. I mean,
insane.
How do you trade that young of a talent, a guy that's shown that he can hit? He's already won a World Series, I believe.
With the Phillies.
Yeah, no.
With the Nationals in 2019.
Yeah, and it's like why would you trade a guy? That's who you build around, I would think, but. All comes to all. Hopefully, he becomes a Red.
Seriously,
I know it's easy to say in baseball, like, hey, or come to the Yankees.
Right.
One of the I just want somebody. But yeah, I know the Reds are going to be active, and the Yankees probably be active as well.
Yeah, and then finally the Rockies are the final team in the NL West. They're selling.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling. So all in all, we're pretty excited for the second half of the season. Obviously, as Reds fans, you have something.
And then I want to go. So you got no more on the Rockies?
Nope, I'm good.
So now I just want to go. I want to go over one thing, and I want to say, who do you think's going to win the division? If it stays the same, just let me know.
Each division?
Yep.
Okay.
So who's going to be NL West? The one we just did.
NL West. Dodgers are just too good.
I think Dodgers keep it. Yep.
They're just too good.
NL Central.
I'm biased. Reds.
I'm gonna say Reds too. NL East.
Braves are too good.
Yeah, say we don't even have to talk about that. Braves are gonna win. AL West. This is a tough one. I'm gonna say the Astros.
I'm gonna agree with you.
I'm gonna say the Astros. I think they're gonna come back and take it. I know they're 2 games back.
Well, what's crazy though is with the talent the Mariners have, they've underperformed. They're only 6. What are they? 6 games back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they're there.
And then AL Central.
Don't care.
I'm gonna say
probably the Guardians.
I want to say the Twins.
Okay.
And then the AL East, I'm going to be biased, obviously, and I'm going to say the Yankees. I think they'll make it back.
Yep, I'm going to say the Orioles. I think
Even
the
though
Orioles
they are 8 games back, that's my biggest surpriser.
Yeah, right.
But,
right. I think the Orioles are. I think they're probably the. Would you say they're the most talented team in the division?
Most talented is probably the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have
with
a lot.
Bichette, Vlad,
Matt Chapman. Dalton Varsho, Danny Jensen.
You're right. Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah, like they have a lot of Chris Bassett. I mean, they have Alex Manoah.
Right.
Simber. Like, they have a lot of guys. Like, I could probably name their whole team just because they're so talented.
They're a talented team, but that's easily the best division in baseball, though.
Easily.
AL East. So, but like I said, we're excited for the second half of the season. And then this is almost like a baseball themed episode. A little bit later in the episode, we're actually going to be doing an MLB draft, an all-time MLB draft.
Right after this.
Exactly. So stick around, and we appreciate you all watching these MLB videos.
Alright, so that will bring us to today's game. So today's game is an MLB draft like we mentioned before. So what we'll do is we'll draft a catcher. This is all time. Catcher, first base, second base, third, short. Then you get 3 outfielders, a DH, and a starting pitcher. So this is like we're going to be facing a game one-on-one. So this is not, that's why we're just doing one starting pitcher. So it's just one pitcher. And then the rules in this is you can play a player like, I'm going to just say a guy that we all know. Jonathan India, he plays second, but he can play third. Right. So you can do that.
But he can't play. But you can't put him in outfield.
Gotcha. Yep.
Or you couldn't put him at first.
And then we did rock paper scissors, and Jake sadly won.
And then we're doing the snake draft, so I get 1, you get 2.
Correct. So Jake gets first.
All right, first pick. I kind of wanted to go big brain and go crazy, but I'm just going Babe Ruth. He's gonna be my outfielder.
Okay.
I'm gonna put Babe Ruth in the outfield. I just think for all around, what you want in a player, whether it's power, whether it's average, probably not speed, but defensively, he was great. I remember watching him. He hit 242, 714 home runs, 2,214 RBIs. Is that good?
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's good, not bad.
So that was actually going to be my first pick.
Right.
But I'll go ahead and take, I believe he's the second home run, or he might be the number 1 home run king, Hank Aaron.
Hank Aaron?
I think he's a third, right?
Hank Aaron's gonna be right field.
Right field, never mind. So I don't know that, but Hank Aaron, he's arguably the second best player of all time, behind Babe Ruth. And then another player that's up there that's really good is another outfielder. I'm gonna say Willie Mays.
Willie Mays
in center.
Good picks, really good picks. So you kind of got your outfield almost solidified, really. I mean, you're 1 away, but it's definitely solidified. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick my DH now. I'm taking Barry Bonds.
Okay.
Taking Barry Bonds.
All right. And then I'm actually going to go...
Whoa, easy, Tiger.
Oh, yeah, you get 2.
I get 2. Easy, Tiger. Dude.
I was getting excited.
Relax, okay? And then for my other outfielder, so I have Barry Bonds, I have Babe Ruth, I have the power. I'm going to go ahead and go Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson?
And that's my leadoff guy. Guy. He's going to be my center fielder.
Alrighty. So now it's me. So I'm actually going to go with the Yankee legend as well. I'm going to go ahead and solidify my outfield. And I'm going to go, no, I'm not going to go Lou Gehrig. I'm actually going Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle.
And the dude has the longest home run of all time, and he still somehow is one of the fastest of all time.
Right.
So you put 2 and 2 together. I don't know how that's possible, but it sounds like a Ellie De La Cruz to me.
Indeed.
And then my pitcher, I'm going to go 6'10", throws about 102 fastball, lefty, Randy Johnson.
That was my pick.
So I'll go ahead and get my pitcher.
That was my pick, dude. So now at least I know I don't have to worry about my pitcher. I can go ahead and make that my last pick. So I have Ricky Henderson, I have Babe Ruth, I have Barry Bonds. I think I'm going to go ahead and get my other outfielder. I'm going Junior. King Griffey Jr.
Okay, good pick.
Yep, I'm going King Griffey in the outfield. And then I need to get my Oh, I know what'll hurt you. My shortstop's going to be Derek Jeter.
All right, Derek Jeter. I was going to pick him.
Yeah, I figured.
But not... I was a little bit more... I feel a little bit more better you didn't take actually my guy, and I'm going to take my favorite baseball player of all time, Alex Rodriguez, at third.
A-Rod.
Actually, no. I'm going to play him at short. He started his career at short, and so I'm going to take him at short because I feel like short's harder to find.
Right.
So I'm going to put him at shortstop, Alex Rodriguez. And then with my other pick, I'm actually going to take... so I actually allow on my team, you're allowed to bet on your team. So
you're taking Pete Rose.
I'm going to take Pete Rose at third base. That's why I'll put A-Rod at the short.
Interesting.
And he's actually going to be wearing... So we're all going to wear red hats. He's going to wear that white hat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. So for my third base, I'm going to go with... Third base is going to be... I just don't want to say it yet.
Yeah, it's a secret.
My third baseman's going to be Chipper Jones.
That's a good pick.
Going Chipper Jones at third base. And then my first baseman is going to be Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols, that's a very good pick. All right, and then at the... Let's see here. At the catcher position, I'm actually going to go ahead and solidify that and go give me Big Red Machine. And I'm going to take Johnny Bench.
Yep.
I think that's a pretty safe pick there. Give me Johnny Bench. And then... let's see here. My second pick. Let's see. What do I want to do here? With my second pick here, I'm actually going to take my DH spot. And I'm going to take. Ted Williams.
Ted Williams.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ted Williams. Red Sox.
Absolutely.
Legend.
Alrighty, so for second base, I'm going Joe Morgan.
That's a good pick.
And then for my catcher, I don't know who I'm going yet. I gotta look up best catchers of all time. Because I was thinking Pudge Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. You know what? Curveball. I'm doing it. For my catcher, I'm going Buster Posey.
Buster Posey.
Buster Posey.
All right, and then is that your second pick?
Yep, and then I just have a pitcher left, so I'm sure.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go with. So I have my last two picks here.
Yep.
I'm actually gonna go with Lou Gehrig at first base.
Yeah.
That's my first baseman, and then my second baseman is Jackie Robinson.
Nice.
Jackie Robinson.
Nice.
So my team is solidified.
Yep, and then my last pick, my pitcher is going to be Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan.
So we're both going to have hard throwers.
All right. So you want to go over your team real quick?
Absolutely. So
hey, we'll go by position. So who's your catcher?
So my catcher is Buster Posey.
My catcher is Johnny Bench.
Yep.
First
baseman is Albert Pujols.
Mine's Lou Gehrig. Second base.
Joe Morgan.
Jackie Robinson. Third base.
Chipper Jones.
Pete Rose. Shortstop.
Jeter.
Alex Rodriguez. Outfield.
Babe Ruth, Ricky Henderson, and Ken Griffey Jr.
My outfield's Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and Mickey Mantle. And then DH.
My DH, Barry Bonds, the only one.
And then Ted Williams is mine. And then on the bump,
Nolan Ryan versus Randy Johnson.
Versus Randy Johnson. So let us know at the end of this video of who do you think won, Carson or Jacob.
Yep, thank you. This is our fourth consecutive episode, breaking down each division. So if you want to see the previous three divisions, in the first episode we talked about the AFC East, and then we talked about the AFC North. Our most previous episode we talked about the AFC South. So today we're talking about the AFC West, and we're also predicting the division.
And we're also predicting the AFC after this.
Yeah, we're predicting the 7 playoff teams in the AFC next year.
Yeah.
First things first in the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos, another one of these teams with a brand new coach. They have a quarterback locked up, Russell Wilson from the Seahawks. And another very talented team. Carson, what do you think about the Broncos?
Yeah, so I think with this team, you're definitely going to see them way better than they were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be better because Sean Payton came in here and said, all right, obviously, so let me first say this. Sean Payton ain't going to go to a team he's going to lose.
Right.
He literally left the Saints. That was a winning team, and he left, and then he's going to decide to come back to a losing team. That ain't going to happen.
No.
So they're going to come out. They're going to win games. This team is very, very solid, like on paper at least too. Like he went out and got Mike McGlinchey. That was a huge sign. Their offensive line improved a lot. Then they got Ben Powers. They re-signed. They still have Garrett Bowles. They got Cam Flinning as a backup, just in case of injuries. Receiving, they're stacked at receiving core. I mean, they got Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, Marquez Callaway, Marvin Mims as a rookie, KJ Hamler. This team their offense is all solidified around how good is Russell Wilson this year. And I think kind of similar to last year, like he just didn't have a good year, but like I think we'll see a bounce back year from Russell Wilson.
And then defensively, they obviously have their headline by cornerback Patrick Surtain.
He's rated the number 1 corner this year.
He's the best cornerback in the NFL, and he's a stud. But typically, they are loaded in the defensive backs. They're loaded in the D line. The other part of their defensive backing crew is Justin Simmons, their safety. So good. Between those two, between Surtain and Simmons, they already have one of the best secondaries in the league. And then as far as D line goes, they have Randy Gregory. Who are their tackles?
So their tackles are they have DJ Jones. He came from San Francisco. They signed Zach Allen. He's a defensive end, kind of defensive tackle, big boy. Mike Purcell. So they got some veteran guys up there, but it looks like this is a weaker defensive front Broncos team than we've seen in the past. But yeah, it's very solid defense still. They a lot of the same guys, but they obviously lost some people. But the defense definitely did drop a little bit, but their offense got better. So.
For sure. But the big story, obviously, with the Broncos is Sean Payton and his Russell Wilson. Last year, what did you notice out of Russ that made him stink? Because that's what he did. He stunk last year.
Yeah, I think the main thing with him is it's like he didn't know the offense.
Right.
I think he was like running. It's like throwing me or you out there and like, here, go play football.
Right, with more talent.
Exactly. So it's just like, I don't know if it was like bad coaching, which obviously he got fired and Hackett maybe just couldn't do it. But I don't know. It was just there wasn't agreed. They didn't joint together somehow. And
well, the bottom line is with the money that they invested in Sean Payton, if Russell Wilson doesn't have a good season, it's not Sean Payton leaving.
Yeah.
It's going to be Russ.
Exactly.
So Russ is obviously the X factor to this team. Anything else on the Broncos?
Nothing else on the Broncos.
Nothing else on the Broncos.
So Kansas City Chiefs.
Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are pretty good at football. The Kansas City Chiefs offensively, they don't even have like one of the greatest offenses in the world on paper, but they have Patrick Mahomes and they have Travis Kelce, and that's all that matters really.
Yeah, and then I think the biggest thing with them is their offensive line. Like they protect Patrick Mahomes. That's what they do. Right. They protect Patrick Mahomes, and obviously whenever you get a guy like Travis Kelce there too, it makes it even harder. But I think the biggest question mark with this team though is their receiving core. I know we've seen in the past, remember Tom Brady with that Patriots team where I think they were barely over 500.
Right.
And he had Deion Branch as receiver 1. It played a factor and it did hurt Tom Brady. So I'm curious to see. I know, but they run a different style of offense compared to the Patriots do. But I'm just curious to see on what these this receiving core look like for Patrick Mahomes.
On the defensive side, one thing I'm excited to see from the Chiefs, I'm excited to see George Karlaftis' improvement. He had a really good rookie year last year, but they're obviously George Karlaftis is a stud, but the name of the game for this defense is Chris Jones in the middle.
He's that man. That man causes havoc. He's the second best defensive tackle, right behind Aaron Donald. But he causes so much havoc.
Absolutely. They also have one of the best run stoppers in the league in Nick Bolton. He's a great player. And then Jalen Watson on the outside, Brian Cook on the outside. This is kind of the outside is where they struggle.
Yeah.
They do have Justin Reed. They brought him over from Houston. Really good safety. They have L'Jarius Sneed, but their defensive backs are kind of their biggest struggle.
I'd say pretty much like after L'Jarius Sneed, he was locked down last year, but after L'Jarius Sneed, like everybody else kind of like is wishy-washy. Depends on the game.
Right.
So that is a big factor for them. Like you said, you touched on Nick Bolton. They also have Willie Gay. Willie Gay is a tremendous tackler. He was like one of the leaders in tacklers, so run game. This defense is very underrated. Spags always gets into play during the big moments. So I think obviously Kansas City Chiefs are most likely probably the favorites to win this division and win the Super Bowl again.
Absolutely. So. Every year. Every single year. Moving on to who's next on our list? The Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders are in a peculiar position. They still have Josh McDaniels. We don't know if they have Jimmy Garoppolo or not. Like, apparently he signed his contract, but there's a clause. But, like, he's getting posted on NFL, so we're assuming they have Jimmy Garoppolo. But what do you think about the Raiders' offense? How do you think, like, year 2, how big do you think the step will be from year 1?
So, like, I think you're talking about who?
With Josh McDaniels.
With Josh McDaniels. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see, like, they're going to get better because, this team has a lot of talent. They're defensively, they're getting better. Obviously, you have Max Crosby, like Chandler Jones. They have good players, so I think you'll see their defense because their defense struggled last year. And offensively, they had like I think the number 1 ground attack, but no, number 2 behind the Eagles.
Yeah.
But Josh Jacobs ran the crap out of the ball last year. But I think you'll see this team improve. I think he had a lot of rookie mistakes as a rookie head coach, even though he really wasn't.
Right.
But, stint number 2, he still had a lot of rookie mistakes. But I think you'll see a lot of improvement. I believe didn't he get a new Mike
Lombardi. He's
Lombardi.
From Mick Lombardi.
Yeah, and then Patrick Graham. I believe he got. I think he's new. Mick. Yeah. I think Mick's new because I think he got a new. Who was the Mayock? He had
Mike May. He was the GM.
GM. Okay, is he still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just know that there's some. Like, I think he has a new coordinator.
No, he's not there. I'm sorry. He got fired.
He did get
fired. The GM got fired.
So they got a new GM. That's what. Okay. Maybe that's what it was. So they got a new guy in the front office. So maybe they built a lot of guys around. Like he brought in Jacoby Myers, former team. He brought in like Austin Hooper, drafted Michael Mayer. Like I think this team is like he's trying to build it the way he wants. Right. Last year is more. He kind of showed up late. Kind of more of a. Who was the coach before?
Only John Gruden.
Was it John Gruden?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I think it is.
That's crazy.
So he kind of got his footsteps.
Because it was Gruden and Bisaccia in the middle of the season.
So they were kind of going through a rough phase there, the Raiders were. So this is actually, I think, his first. It's kind of like Louisville with Kenny Payne. I think this is his first test.
Yeah.
This year, I think this is kind of show where he is.
But also similarly to Louisville with Kenny Payne, if he doesn't perform this year, if they're not like around 500 or above 500 with their talent, his job's in trouble.
And what sucks for him, I will say, is his division. Like it does suck to say like you got to go try to get 500, but I mean, with this roster, I mean you still have good names on this team like Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. Then you have guys like you have one of the best special teams in the league, like AJ
Carson
and Cole.
Yeah.
And but this defense needs to have a vastly improvement, and a lot of these guys I still don't know. So.
Absolutely. And then we'd also be remiss if we didn't mention Devontae Adams.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the best wide receivers still in the league. So we'll see how that Jimmy Garoppolo, Devontae Adams, how that connection works out. Then our final team in the AFC West is the Los Angeles Chargers. The LA Chargers. They're a team that was up 33 points last year in the playoffs, and then the Jaguars came back. A lot of unhappy Chargers fans, and definitely an unhappy season. The big thing about the Chargers is their new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore from Dallas.
Yeah, I think because I think Staley was calling most of the plays last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a huge coach for them. Like this dude was getting head coaching offers, and he still decided to take an offense coordinator position to go to a good offense. Yeah. And he had really good success with the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is a huge pickup for the Chargers.
Their first round draft pick was Quentin Johnston. How do you think he fits into their offense? Kind of an awkward fit, right?
Yeah, I think they definitely drafted him because they're going to pass the ball. I mean, they
Right.
got Gerald Everett, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston, and Keenan Allen. They still even have Josh Palmer and Jalen Guyton. So I think this team is out. They're ready to air it. That's what they're ready to do. They're ready to air it. And even the running back, Austin Eckler, he is a receiving back.
Yeah.
So it's like this team is known. They're going to pass the ball.
And then I personally, this is just my personal opinion, I think Justin Herbert's one of the most overhyped players in the league. I've seen him make amazing throws. We saw him play live. And don't get me wrong, he makes incredible throws, but I haven't seen what I need to see out of Herbert to call him one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, yeah, and just his team around him. He has a Super Bowl team.
Right.
I mean, like, his defense is outrageous.
Yeah.
And then their offense, his weapons are outrageous, and his line's good. I mean, he has Rashawn Slater, one of the best left tackles in the league. He has Zion Johnson and Corey Linsley. I mean, like, those are a good three mold right there.
Right.
And so, I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from. Like, he has literally a Super Bowl team, and they have not made it. And they haven't even won a playoff game, have they?
No.
So, yeah. And their defense. Let's talk about their defense.
Yeah.
Their defense, they bring in Morgan Fox, Sebastian Joseph Day, very good pickup there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, then they got Khalil Mack, Kenneth Walker, Eric Kendricks.
Kenneth Murray.
Oh, Kenneth Murray, yes.
But Eric Kendricks, really good pickup.
Yes, Joey Bosa, Asante Samuel, Derwin James, Michael Davis. Like, this team, like, holy cow. J.C. Jackson.
The talent.
I mean,
the talent on this team.
This defense, I think, could easily be the number one defense in the league. Easily. This team has so many, like, even their backups. Like, as of right now, they have J.C. Jackson as a backup cornerback. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Obviously, he did have a rough year last year, but, I mean, the dude can still play. I mean, he's young. This defense is amazing. Their offense is amazing. I could literally see this team making a surprise and winning the division over the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, we've covered all four of the AFC West teams. So let's go ahead and rank them 1 through 4. How we think that they'll finish in the division. So Carson, who do you have as far as the AFC West goes, 1 through 4? How do you think the division shakes out?
Yeah, so I think 1, I'm going to stick with the Super Bowl champs. I'm going to go with Kansas City at my 1. I think they get it done. Obviously, I just think Spags has enough defense of mind to get it done on defensively, and they have the best quarterback in the league. So Kansas City 1. Chargers, I'm going 2. I think that team is just absolutely loaded. 3, I think you won't see the Broncos in the last spot. I think you could possibly see 3 teams make the playoffs in this division as well. So I'm going to say Broncos 3, Raiders 4. And I don't think the Raiders don't get it done because of their defense and the question mark at quarterback.
Yep, I think you have a pretty good list. Mine's the exact that.
Yeah.
Kansas City 1. I think they're the best team in football. The Chargers 2, just like you said, too talented.
Mm-hmm.
Way too talented of a roster. And then 3 will be the Broncos. Because they do have a quarterback, right, and they have Sean Payton, so that matters. And then 4, like you said, I have concerns on defense for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh McDaniels, he's never worked out as a head coach in his career.
Exactly.
In his career. So with that being said, then let's move on to our AFC rankings. So we're gonna rank 1 through 4, right? So the 4 division winners,
okay.
and then the three wild card spots. So this is what we think come next January. Who we think that the
this is early. This is our first one.
Absolutely. Who we think that the AFC playoff teams will be.
We'll kind of do like a draft.
Let's do it.
So my East, I'm going to say Bills. So obviously we already said that. So Bills is my 1.
What seed do you think they'll have?
I'm going to say Bills. I'm going to say Bills have number 2.
Number 2 seed.
Yes, I think they have number 2. What about So you want to go like 1, 2?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's
so
do
my
that.
1 is Kansas City.
My one is actually the New York Jets.
New York Jets. Okay.
Just because Kansas City, they kind of struggled in the regular season. Now, what does struggle mean for them?
Yeah.
But I just think the Jets are so freaking good.
Yeah.
The Jets are so good.
And then so your 1 is
Jets.
Mine's Kansas City. 2 is Bills, like I said.
For me, it's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Okay. 3 is the Ravens.
For me, my 3 is the Bengals.
Okay. And then my 4 is the Indianapolis Colts.
And then my 4 is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And then, so my 3 wild card spots. 5th is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Mine is the Bills.
Okay. 6th is the Chargers.
Yep, mine's the Ravens.
And then 7 is the New York Jets.
And then my 7 is the Dolphins. So what we both have is 3 AFC East teams, correct? Jets, Bills, Dolphins.
Jets. Bills. I don't have Dolphins, no.
Nope.
I only have 2.
Gotcha.
I have 2 of AFC East, 1 AFC South, 2. I have 2. Everything's 2 besides AFC South.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I'm split.
Absolutely. So again, in order, my 1 through 4 are the Jets, the 1 seed, the Chiefs, the 2, the 3, the Bengals, the 4, the Jaguars, and then my 5 through 7 are the Bills are the 5th seed, the Ravens are the 6th, and the Dolphins are the 7th.
And then to round it out, mine's Kansas City 1, Bills 2, Ravens 3, Colts 4, Bengals 5, Chargers 6, Jets 7.
Alrighty, so we appreciate you all hanging with us on this duo episode of Coach from the Couch podcast. Carson, do you have any final words that come to mind?
Yeah, all my final words is I'm glad baseball's back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Kentucky also plays tonight. They got their game 1 against Germany. I think they play Canada tonight. So hopefully Kentucky goes 2-0, and then hopefully the Reds can make this playoff run.
The things that are on my mind right now, this weekend our good buddy Luke Bryant comes home. We're excited for that. Bryant, not the country singer. We'll probably do some golfing this weekend, so that'll be fun. But just like you said, baseball's back.
He might do a game too.
Oh, we might have him do a game.
We might have him do a game. We won't go live episode. We won't do an episode, but he might do a game for us. So,
absolutely.
So he might do that.
Absolutely. So thank you all so much for, like I said, hanging out on this duo podcast. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're on all the socials. We enjoy making these, and we enjoy when we get feedback, obviously, from our viewers. So until next time.
And next time will be the NFC East.
NFC East. We're going to the NFC, folks. We're going to the NFC. So from Carson, Jacob, we'll see you next time.